song is for those who inspire us today, who always lend a helping hand to help show us the way. This song is for those who see their students through the tough times in their lives. For that we say thank you. You have made a difference. You have shaped our minds. You have changed the world, one child at a time. You have always been there in everything you do. I hope that you're as proud of me as I am proud of you. This song is for those who heard the silent cries, who stepped in to wipe the tears from the children's eyes. For those who gave us a safe place to grow, a place for us to call our home forever. We know that you have made a difference. You have shaped our minds. You have changed the world, one child at a time. You have always been there in everything you do. I hope that you're as proud of me as I am proud of you. This song is for those who taught us right from wrong, who taught us much more than their craft to help our minds grow strong. This song is for those who guide us through and through, so that we can make a life. For that we say thank you. You have made a difference. You have shaped our minds. You have changed the world, one child at a time. You have always been there in everything you do. I hope that you're as proud of me as I am proud of you. As I look back on my life and to the path within my reach, I hope I can change the life of those that I teach. I can make a difference. All I do is try to see a different world through the children's eyes. And I will always be there in everything I do. I hope that you're as proud of me as I am proud of you. And I will always be there in everything I do. I hope that you're as proud of me as I am proud of you.
A very good evening. A very good evening to everybody. So again, as usual, I would be starting with asking a question, am I audible, before I proceed? Can somebody just acknowledge if I am audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. A very good evening to all the educators present here this evening. I wish you all a very, very pleasant day, because we have people who joined us from all across the globe. So I would not be wishing morning, good evening, or good afternoon. So that's why I come up with have a pleasant day ahead. I, Dr. Malka Grewal, Director Kids Captivation, deem it an honor and privilege to welcome you all for our first in-service training program for the early years foundation stage teachers. So dear friends, as we all know that before we begin with any of our auspicious occasion, we seek the blessings of Almighty. So without any delay, let us seek the blessings of Almighty by lighting the lamp. May we have the lamp lighting ceremony, please.
Shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhana sampadah. Shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhana sampadah. Shatru buddhi vinashaya deepajyotir namostute. Deepajyotir namostute. Shubham kurutvam kalyanam
Thank you so much. So I hope this day marks a turning point in our lives because it will determine how we want to start the coming year ahead. We would want to regress a little because last year was such a silent year in terms of education, especially for the early years where children are too young to be over the gadgets for learning, and so have the facilitators been facing challenges. Hats off to the early years foundation stage facilitators who have put in all their hearts and souls to reach out to the toddlers. Well, for sure, all of you would want to surpass your previous performance and embrace the famous mantra, I will teach as if it is my last. I will teach as if it is my last. And yes, I will teach as if it is my last. Deep inside, I know that every one of us wants next year to give us the best teaching experience. Alone, of course, it's impossible, but together we can make it happen. We can surely make a difference, not just in ourselves, but in the lives of those little ones who, just like us, want to have the best experience they could have. Today, I prefer to acquaint you with Mr. Rauf Khan, who has joined us all the way from Cairo, Egypt, the master trainer of our first training program of the year. In view of your unbelievable ingenuity, sir, we've had the option to add another part to our work family. Sir is an experienced educationist with over a decade of experience in the education sector. Sir holds a vast experience in English language, arts, standards, modern teaching methods, and assessment systems of American and British. Sir has trained teachers all across in terms of respective national and Cambridge curriculum. Mr. Rauf is specialized and has designed grade-specific curriculum, scheme of work, and annual academic plan for various renowned schools. Mr. Rauf is a former principal Demet International School. To talk about Sir's certification, the list is too long. Why I would say it is too long? Because Sir and me, we've done most of the courses, the studies, I would say, during the pandemic, during the lockdown together. So I personally want to thank Sir for always helping me, guiding me, motivating me, and pushing me to study throughout the year. Otherwise, I would have been a lazy bum without doing anything. So all my certifications, all the credits of my success goes to Mr. Rauf, who is a very, very good friend of mine. Thank you, Rauf, once again. So friends.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Malka. You started to draw long bridges for my compliments and all of this. But anyway, it's really nice to know all of you. And I could see a lot of people around the world. And especially Ms. Malka gave me the opportunity because I was quite busy doing some trainings in different schools. But luckily in Cairo, they have the holiday today and tomorrow, which is the Prophet birthday. So I grabbed the chance and then I decided, so why not? I can join. Thank you very much. I already introduced, Ms. Malka introduced me, but I would say I'm Rauf Khan. Already you know my name. And I'm working in the education industry more than 10 years, helping different schools and teachers and lots of educational institutes. And we have our own company, which is called Phoenix Education Services, which create the systems and professional skill development training program. So today I'm going to show you how to deal with the preschool emotional and social development. And this is the basic.
Before you go ahead, sir, I just have a small message for all my friends, because all my teachers have joined in and all of them who are here are my friends the way you are. So before we proceed, I just have a small message for everybody. May I? So friends, sit back, relax, and enjoy. I would say when we go for a training program or when we are preparing for something, we always say, let's be serious. But here we have a different approach. So sit back, relax, enjoy. Grab everything that you can grab from Mr. Rauf. Observe everything that you can observe and use every learning as your sword and shield to make you better, if not the best. So over to you, Rauf.
Yes, thank you very much, Ms. Malka. Thank you. And I like the way you asked the permission as well. That's quite generous of you. Thank you. I'm going to share my screen first of all, and we'll see what we're going to do after that. You guys can see my share. Sometimes with the technology, the things are a bit funny.
Yes.
Can you see my
Yes.
screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's good. Right. Preschool learning, social and emotional development. with
Rauf,
focus
actually,
on-
you need to open it. We can only see your desktop, actually, not really the presentation.
I did actually. Hang on a minute. How about now?
No, no. Yup, yup. Yes.
All right. Okay. So you can see the title is the preschool learning, social and emotional development with focus on self-regulation. I can see the title is quite long, and there's a lot of things I try to add into this presentation, especially for teachers who wants to focus on the child education, especially their social and emotional development, because preschool, just like you can say the mother lab, when they go to preschool nurseries or any institute like this, so they are not focused on more academic, they are just focused on their social and emotional development, which is a very great importance in their life. So I will skip the introduction. So before that, I have a confession to make. Maybe Ms. Malka, she didn't tell you, but I need to clearly tell you about myself. Is anybody want to know my confession? I just want to see the nodded head.
Yes.
Okay. So my confession is that basically I'm a lawyer. I've been graduated from Liverpool John Moore University from London, but I switched my career. And after switching my career, because I was more into academics, so rather than practicing law, even though I was quite good in it, because I worked for 5 years in a law firm within London in Hounslow, but later I switched my career into education. So this was my first confession to share with all of you to get to know each other better. I think Ms. Malka, she knows, but she never shared this with anyone. Okay, so before we go into details, first we need to know that what we are going to cover today. These are the objectives. You can see we will be familiar with the preschool learning foundation, social and emotional development with the focus on self-regulation, substrand. Because if you not focus on self-regulation, because all the time the burden lies upon the teachers, lies upon the people who are in the institute, especially the teacher and administration and principal and all of these academic directors. So rather than shifting the focus on them, we should shift the focus on children. We need to be familiar with the current research and social and emotional development because it's very important. Day by day, things are changing, especially psychologically. Kids are getting way more advanced than us. Because now, if you look at 7, 8 years old, 5 years old, when I was 5 years old, thinking about it, I won't be able to even hold the mobile and how to operate it. Because in our time, we would have the very old style mobile. But look at the things are keep getting changed day by day, not just month by month. And also, we need to connect the foundation effective strategy that will build a positive relationship support with self-regulation skills. So, what is preschool learning foundation central assumptions? What we think about it? Do you guys have any idea? Any one of you? I guess that's why me too. I didn't have the idea about it. So I got the quote from source of California Preschool Learning Foundation. They say school readiness is consists of social emotional development which is based on their cognitive and motivational ones. This is the basic foundation for the preschool learning. As at the beginning, I told you that we are not going to talk about academic, whether they can learn ABC, whether they can count from 1 till 10. No, these things are not important at the beginning. So why we need to know foundation is social emotional development. So this is the big question. And I just try to summarize within 2 words that we need to identify the important social and emotional competencies for school readiness. So we are preparing children to be ready to go to school. We are not there to give them something academic. Maybe you might face this challenge that some parents might come and they ask you, oh, my child is in your nursery or in your place, and it's been more than 3 months and he doesn't recognize even ABC. He can't count 1, 2, 3. So this kind of question, because the parents are not educated. So they might come up with this kind of question and excuses, and they might try to sabotage you, harass you, or ask you, I want my money back or anything. But you guys need to motivate them. You guys need to educate them that what is this for? You are actually preparing them for the school. You are not the school. So learning and growing activities. So usually they are, as I mentioned, again and again, I'll keep refer back to the academic side, because we are not teaching them something. We are giving them activities through which they can grow. And if we close the school readiness gap in early years, and usually it's happened because in my time, when I was young, so my grandfather, he was alive at that time, and mom, she was at work, my dad was abroad. So he picked me up and I was almost 5 years, and he just admitted me in the school. So I wasn't ready, because for me, it was completely different environment, different people, teachers different, routine was different, because I've never been used to this routine. So that's why if we close this gap in early years, so we will narrow the achievement gap down onward. Like in future, we will not be having a problem to reach to the main goal, which they are there for. So central assumptions is well supported by development and educational research. The National Education Goals Panel, which is conducted in 1996, they said that the children must be ready to learn, for example, possess the prerequisite skills for learning in order to meet school success. So it's very clear, if you guys try to look back to the statement which I just read it, that we need to prepare them for the school. We are not the school. How are we going to prepare them? We need to give them the activities, and we have to find out each and every individual child that what are their thoughts, the way they operate, the way they move, the way they think, the way they deal with others. So these are the area we need to focus on, we need to identify. So, and also usually most nursery, they keep the files of the student, and they keep those files, and they write down that at the beginning when he came, the child, he or she, so he was shy, so he couldn't interact. He couldn't go out in a playground to play with other students. So these kind of things, day by day, you need to keep monitoring them. And this is the real progress. This is the real achievement, because by this way, they're going to get ready. And when they go to the school, so they will find the same environment. So they will be focused more on academic rather than social and emotional learnings. So we are just literally preparing students socially and emotionally to be ready for the school. Foundation in social emotional development. These are the basic foundations. If you try to read the slide quickly before I go into details, you can see the top one is talking about the self-awareness. The other one is social interaction. And the last one is relationship. So beginning in early childhood, children exhibit significant difference in enthusiasm, motivation, and self-confidence in new learning situations. So I'm not talking about academic, I'm talking about the new learning situation. So children learning styles influence their initiative in learning and their persistence when faced with difficult challenges. These learning differences can be influenced by the kind of reactions the parents and the teachers give to the children, achievement, success, and failure that emphasize the child's intrinsic ability to strong effort. Performance orientation, if you try to focus on their performances, so performance orientation focus on efforts in learning. situations that explain positive evaluation for others and avoid negative judgment. Because as I told you in the beginning, mostly people, they try to started to judge the students from the very early age. Oh, he's dull, he is dumb, he can't get it, he's not focused, he's always distracted. So this kind of judgment can be avoided if you try to focus on the child intrinsic ability. And later on, when it comes to the performance orientation, so they focus on learning situations. For example, they try to make some friends within their class or within the play area. So when they interact with them, as a coincidence, children may avoid situation. Some students maybe try to stay alone. Maybe they don't want to get along. Sometimes the teacher might tell them, can you go play with this one? And he might refuse. He might say, no, I'm sorry, I don't want to. Or maybe I don't like him. Or he can give you any excuses. So learning or mastery orientation focus on efforts that increase ability. These children will be more likely to persist until they are successful. So this is the kind of learning orientation that best predicts the classroom achievement. So from here, then you're going to take them forward into their classroom when they go to the school. So there will be no problem to achieve their goals. So now the second assumption is that the young children have access to the appropriate kind of social interaction experiences. And I try to pick up these pictures to self-explanatory one, because you can see the kids, they always like to, when they make friends, so they always like to play together. And sometimes they don't like to share their things, but if it's been instructed properly from the school administration or the nursery or the teacher, whoever is monitoring them, so they will follow their instructions and then they will love to share it, but rather than keep possessing their own things. So you can see that this is the environment normally support healthy development, because when I was in the school, so I always try to tell them that sharing is caring. So there are some students, even till now, I think they are in upper grades somehow. So they're still saying, oh, Mr. Rauf said that, oh, sharing is caring. Can you give me your food as well? Can you give me your lunch as well? So that's why this became a logo. It became a kind of like a motive for everybody that sharing is caring. So first we try to teach them how to share and contribute themselves, their toys, their things with others. But it has to be monitored. It doesn't mean that one child bring his lunch and the other take it and finish it. So then the next day they might have a complaint that, okay, my child is bringing food and the other is taking it. So this has to be given by the rules, by the stipulations. If you can't give them stipulation, okay, sharing is caring, but what sort of things you need to share? It doesn't mean you share your lunchbox, you share your stationery, you share even maybe sometimes some have a pocket money and they can share as well. So these things need to be considered. Going to the next slide. Another assumptions, if you can read it before because I don't like to read the slides, basically. I'm sorry, there's some pictures are a bit blurry, but these are more suitable. So you can see that the two kids, they are playing together and the toys are there, and the environment is not a school, it's the kind of a nursery. So now thinking about important social emotional behavior and skills that are important for the children to develop. One way of defining the school readiness is to consider the quality that the parents or the kindergarten teacher view as essentials. So have participants individually record their thoughts. So these kids will be in the nursery, within institute, and anywhere. So who's going to record their thoughts and how they interact with others? This is going to be a very biggest responsibility, and very successful nurseries and kindergarten or preschools, they usually keep the record of each and every single child, that today, this is how he interacted with his friend. This is how he dealt with, today emotionally, he was a bit down. So they try to even involve the parents as well, because they keep asking them that, was there something wrong in the house, whether he was scolded by somebody, or maybe there is something is bothering him. Because rather than just being focused on the child within the nursery, within the institute, so you need to look back into their house as well, with the parents as well. You need to get along with the parents, and you need to consider them the part of the development of the child, emotional and social learning as well. So otherwise, without their help, you won't be able to achieve that. So now another assumption. I'm sorry, we keep going to assumption. These are all the assumption. So the foundation especially is the behavior example of each foundation. We are not meant to be assessing the students based on their academic level. So you can see the children are mostly love to play. And even when they become to grade 1 and grade 2, so this main domain is focused on children understanding of themselves and the others and their ability to function in the school setting. For example, the teacher is trying to ask them to, let's say in the picture, the child is extending her hands. So this is kind of a play. But whether he's following instruction, whether he's shy, whether he's reluctant, is there something is bothering him? So these are the simple guidelines that we need to focus on. The cognitive and social emotional development are deeply interdependent. Why? This is my biggest question to ask. Why the social, emotional, and cognitive? These skills, why they are dependent, interdependent? What is the biggest reason? So preschoolers are capable of significantly greater depth of psychological insight into their concepts and self-awareness. It helped them to shape their early school success because young children are self-confident, shape their interest, motivation, because someone maybe like to play with a wooden toy and someone maybe like to play just with a Play-Doh, or one of them maybe wants to go out and play with the sand. So these are the different domains. These are the different area of the child learning styles. So we need to focus from there when the child graduate or get ready to go to school. So they can give the file and they can give the whole report of the child that this child is auditory, this child is visual, this child is kinesthetic. So it has a different of domain of learning. So who's going to monitor and who's going to report these? This lies upon the teacher. I mean, I don't know, you guys going to call them in your nursery the teachers or the facilitator. So, or even some they call them caregiver, or some they call them assistant. So this is the main focus should be, that which way the child is growing. I mean, which way he's trying to adopt his way of learning. This is more important. So relationship is, many studies have found that the quality of the parent-child relationship in the preschool years, especially its quality in terms of warmth and support to the child. So we can predict the children subsequent academic success in kindergarten and early primary grade, as well as their social competence in the classroom as well. So always, whenever each slide we finish, I'm going to tell you these are the area which we, once we focus on, so they can guarantee you their success in school. And for most of the parents, if they know most of the very qualified and well-arranged nurseries, so they are just focused on cognitive, social, and emotional skills. They are not focused on academic at all. So I'm trying to keep reminding you again and again that please also try to educate the parents that we are not here to give them something academic. We are trying to prepare them emotionally, socially, and they have their own cognitive skills which will develop through these, and they will master those abilities which will help them in the future in the school, and we are preparing them for the school. So let's check the next slide. Can you see this, the cat? Try to pay attention to this cat eyes. So we are going to learn how the brain grows in early years. This is very important. So try to, if you can read the graph here, I'll give you just 1 minute. Okay, I guess you guys come across, yes, you can understand that these are the sensory pathways and the language abilities and higher cognitive functions. It seems quite a bit difficult and a bit technical, but if you try to focus on the cats, usually when the cats, when they're born, and their eyes, how they can see the environment through their eyes. First, what they do, they observe. And after observing, then they keep sensing them. They smell them, they touch them, they try to play with them. Maybe you must have seen some cats, maybe most of you might have some pets in your house. As a cat, some they have dogs, but usually this study shows it's been conducted, the research based on the cat. So they develop their sensory first, and then they develop their other cognitive functions. So in this graph, which belongs to the human, not to the cat, because we focus on the human brain, not on the cat brain. So you can see from birth till the early years. And when the child reaches to age 8, 9, and 10, these are the skills started to drop down. Why? The reason is because then his body and his brain is focused on other developmental skills, which is not the science skill, which is not the language skill, or neither the higher cognitive skills. All right. Do you think that the stress is healthy or unhealthy? I'm completely changing the topic here. Let me see you guys, because
Unhealthy, of course, that's generally we think.
I would like to hear your insight, because it's a very technical question. Yes, Ms. Malka.
Okay, please don't be judgmental, but the word stress itself is a stress, right? And of course, what we in general, right? And we common people, I would say, when we look at the word stress, we get stressed, right? And stress, of course, drains us out. It worries us, and it doesn't help us to remain emotionally good. So if you're not good emotionally, I think everything gets disturbed, be it on the any front. That's just a common man's language, but I understand somewhere S stands for something good and T stands for something good. And similarly, the entire spelling stands for something good. That's what I guess. I'm not sure. That's all.
Right. I like, I guess something happened to my screen. You guys can see my screen? Ms. Malka.
No, we cannot see, sir.
I'm really sorry. I don't know. Actually, I'm opening a lot of tabs here. So I'm going to share again.
Somebody says stress is both healthy and unhealthy. Great. Okay, that's a good thing to discuss. I mean, people, you can always keep dropping your messages in the chat box. Yes, Rauf, sir, we can see your screen.
Okay, so first of all, I would agree that stress, we have a very negative impact about it. Whenever it comes to discuss about the stress, we are elder, and we always talk about, oh, I'm very stressed because of my job, because of my financial situation, my family situation. So there's a lot of things that we keep talking about it, and stress become a very common word in our social life. And we think that being stressful is completely not healthy. This is a very upsetting to discuss about it. But I would like to tell you that stress and brain development are connected with each other. You know how? Stressful experiences are particularly silent in developing brain architectures, especially when it comes to the children. I'll give you my personal example of my own daughter, because 2 days ago when I called her and I asked her, how was your school day? So she told me I was crying. Why you were crying? Because my sister, she left me. And when I asked the sister, her name is Maya, I told her, it's better to give the personal life experiences, because this is how we learn, rather than reading books and reading other scholars. So I'm telling you that this happened to me 2 days ago. So I asked the elder one, Maya, how come Lena was crying? So she told me, Daddy, because she thought that I left her. I said, but you were in upper floor and you get down to get her, and then you were going to the car. Literally it took 3 minutes, and then she becomes stressful. So then it came in my mind, because I was also preparing this. So I add this part here that yes, the children get stressed, especially when they are in a new environment. So this stress, either it's healthy or it's not healthy. Well, parent will say, yeah, of course, it's not healthy. But for me as an educator, this stress is healthy, because this can develop their brain. She will think that, oh, my sister didn't come to pick me up today. And then if this routine keep happening, so I'm keep telling her, no matter whatever logic I give her, she won't understand, because this is how her brain works. Because I can't change her brain how to work, because she's still so young. It's her first year of, I think she's in grade 1 yet. So this is the second year, but because of the COVID last 2 years, she didn't go to school. That's why this is her first year go to school. So she's been stressful. So I told her, no, it's okay. I told her mother that it's healthy stressful, because once she know the routine, she will get used to it. And then she would figure out that when the school bell rings, so my sister is about to come. So I told her that don't extend the time between the gap between the time you pick her up. It shouldn't be more than 3 to 5 minutes. What if it's get longer? So then the child doesn't have the idea about the timing. What is the 5 minute? What is 10 minutes? But she will think that it's been ages and nobody came to pick me up. So then she will be panicking. So first step is the stress and then the panic. But this stress is helpful. You guys can look it up that there are 3 different kinds of stress: positive stress, tolerable stress, and toxic stress. So now you can tell me that this tolerable stress is healthy for the children and the positive stress is also healthy because this is building their daily life. And stress is one type of experience that can be healthy and unhealthy, both, I can tell you. For some students, yes, it can be unhealthy as well, because that changes how we process information and may cause higher reactivity in emotional stimuli and either increase or decrease self-regulation. So once my daughter, now she knows that, okay, this is the routine and this is the bell ring and my sister comes and she picked me up. So this will regulate her self-awareness. Emotionally, she will get strong. She will also develop her own senses of time as well, that there is a gap between, there's a bell and my sister's not going to leave it. So positive stress is a short-lived stress. This may include meeting new people. And yes, the kids, when first time go to school, they meet new people. Before I go to, I'm kind of very open-minded person. I'm sorry, Ms. Malka, I'm going to ask another person question to you because I think you muted most of them, even you muted yourself. In many schools, they ask me this question that, Mr. Rauf, why we need to bring the child along with the parents on the first? What is the reason behind it? So I was
Yeah,
like,
bringing the child to the school with the parent, like you really said, that this is a very, very short-lived stress. And of course, parting from their parents, because when they've been with their parents, that's where they feel secure. So once the children are coming to school with their parents, although they are meeting new faces, they may not be very comfortable, but somewhere down the lane, they are positive about it, that okay, we have a support there, we have somebody to take care of us, so they feel safe. So when they are
yes,
with their parents,
this is the
they are
conclusion
okay.
point, that they feel safe. And I already told them, I'm sorry, I'm always giving the example of animals because the research is always conducted on the white mouse or rat. So then later on humans. So me too, I'm going the same way. So whenever you try to hand over the pet to somebody, for example, if I have a dog and I wanted to give it to somebody because I'm traveling to UK, so somebody has to take care of it. So with this pet, we have to go. And when we go as an owner and we try to sit with another person or the guardian who's going to take over, so the pets realize that this man or this woman is trustworthy because look, my owner is with it. So the same mentality the children they have. On the first day we to come, even in your schools or in your nursery, this KC we call it because I wanted to keep it short term. You also need to stress on that please bring your child and sit in their classroom for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, as much as time they can spend. If some parents they can spend the whole day, lovely, it's amazing because they will feel less stressed because now my mother or my father is handing over me under the custody of another person. So it means that my mother and father, he or she knows him or her. So this creates the bond. And later on, if the child regularly next day after 2 3 days, he sees the teacher, so then they realize that, oh yes, these are the people I can trust, and it's really important. So I'm sorry, I just skipped all the slides, and I went to the most important point because this is really important. Why? When they see the handing over and they can see the trust between the parents, as I give you the example of the owner of the pet, and then you handing over to another one. So the pet also trusts that, oh yes, sometimes you walk into somebody's house and there is a dog is barking. So all of a sudden owner walked in and he shushed them. I tell him be quiet. So it means, yes, this man is trustworthy. So then the dog get quiet. Why? Because he get the sense that it's trustworthy. So the kids also have the same mentality once they see the parents along with the teachers standing talking for a while, and then they leave them for a while. They might cry, but you can tell them your mommy is going to come and take you back and it's okay. Or better to tell the parent to spend as much as time. It shouldn't be more than 1 hour. but keep it like 15, 20, 30 minutes, whatever is feasible for your institute. So this is very important. So I'm not going to go more into the tolerable stress and the toxic stress, but which was the positive stress, and I need to highlight it for the kids. This was very important. Let's go to the next slide. Can you see? I'm sorry, I personally can't see it. I have to minimize. All right. Can you see that when this stress developed between the children? So what you guys going to do? Because many people ask me, okay, if this positive stress developed and they started to cry, so you have a different kind of idea. And I always encourage most of the nurseries or institute that please do have the fish tank in your office, or in the middle of the schools, or in the corridor or somewhere, because this fish tank is really important. I will not suggest you to have a pet there, but fish tank is very important. You can play some music as well, like mostly nursery, they use some rhyming words or some poems or a different thing, and they can even let them do some physical exercise, because this is also very important. It can take away their stress and it will focus on the physical movement and other things. You need to have some bean bags there rather than rocking chair, or if there is a availability that you can, okay, let's go and we can make some cookies. So this is one of the way that you guys can take away the positive stress. And if somebody say it's unhealthy, no, it is healthy, but we know the way how to take it away. So these things, you can even take a screenshot, Miss Malka, and you can keep it with yourself, and you can suggest to most of them, because these are all based on research. I'm not just making it up from myself, because they've been used by decades by different institutes in many countries, and it really helped them. Maybe one of the things doesn't work. So, okay, come on, I'm going to let you introduce to your new friend. So the other child, another child also sit together. They introduce each other. Would you like to play a game? Would you like to say something? So these are the methods which you can adopt, because first 2 to 3 months, you guys need to struggle with just only their emotional and social skills. And how are you going to do it? First, you will face their stress. And if you can face the stress, many teachers at the beginning of the year, Ms. Malkano is the principal, and I think the first week they come up and they're holding and ripping off and pulling off their hairs, and I can't handle this class and I don't know what to do, and it's everything, and the kids are running in the corridor. But I always tell them that this will happen for the first 1 or 2 weeks. Once they settle down, they get used to the routine, they get used to the new people, so everything will become known. Don't panic, and don't try to take any drastic decision at this point, because this is a kind of a period which will last for a little while and it will shoot down by itself. But you guys need to be equipped how to do it. You need to be equipped with all of these strategies and techniques. You can train your teacher. You can train your helping staff like nannies or matrons and all of them. Because some students, they run away from the classrooms and they don't want to sit with anybody. They'll keep going to the gates, and they'll, I want mommy, I want my daddy. So yes, this is normal. So don't worry about these things. All right. Okay, there is activity. But I don't think so. You guys, do you have a pen and paper with you?
Yes, all of us do have it.
Okay, so you guys can use paper sheet and write down the stressor, and you may experience in your life. Just write down whatever the stress you feel like. Okay, did you guys finish writing your stress about something? Whatever it is, you don't need to share it with me, because it could be very personal. Okay, once you finish writing your stress about in your life, can you now tell me what is your buffers? As I earlier showed you in my previous slide, I will go back to it. Yeah, in this one. And I'm sorry. Okay, you remember the buffer where I show you that you can play a game, you can go to the fish tank, you can sit on rocking chair, you can listen to music. So what is your buffer? I'm asking you personally. Miss Seema Sharma and Sonia and Nilima Sharma, yes, and Shavita. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name properly, but it's all right. Okay. And
Sir,
Navleen,
yeah. Good evening, sir.
good evening.
Am I audible?
Yes, but I can't
Yeah.
see you. Which one is that?
The second slide, I think. Okay. For me, my buffer is doing some craft activity, which I really enjoy. So that is a
Mhm.
kind of stress reliever for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So I enjoy doing that and creating something new. It really take my mind away, and I can work on that. So it gave me some time of peace.
Okay. And how do you feel after this, having getting into your buffer?
After that I feel at least my mind is calm, and then I can get back to my work, and I get time to think about that part which can be really omitted.
Very good. Okay. Anyone else want to share their views?
I would like to. Hi, I'm
Yes.
Naveen. Good evening.
Good
So,
evening.
I would talk about my stress also. The main thing I get stressed with when someone is being judgmental about you and they start criticizing you or something or the other. So, I really get affected. I keep on thinking over and over it. And my stress buster is either listening to meditation music or spending time with my kids or watching a movie. But while I'm at it, I forget about it or sleep it off. So rethinking again and again, it really lowers down the stress at some point, and the next day I forget about it because there's some more stresses coming up your way. So then these issues seem very small as compared to the other issues then.
So, in short, I can conclude this activity because I think we are running all out of time a little bit. So, we all have our own buffer zone. And whenever we are stressful, some they go, they smoke shisha here in Egypt. They sit in a cafe, and when they come back, you completely find a new person because you won't find them that they're talking about a problem or issue which they were stressed and they left the house. So imagine if the children, if they have kind of stress and you try to divert their stress into something healthy. Keep in mind, don't take them to shisha smoking in the cafe. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit funny with Malka, she knows, but try to focus on something which is healthy. And this is how in routine you can divert their stress, and which is healthy. Yes, they will learn, but don't make them a habit of it. Now, okay, if somebody comes and he wants to just sit in front of the fish tank and he doesn't want to do any activity, so then it would turn out to be something else. So try to keep trying different buffers with them, and eventually, as we elder, all of us more than 10 years or 15, 20 years. I'm sorry, I don't want to mention the age of any of you because I don't know most of you. I'm by myself 42 years, and I know my buffer is, it can be 15 to 20 minutes. And yes, most of you told me listening to music in 5 minutes, it can take away this stress away. And then maybe I might have for 2 3 minutes think about it, then I'm then just forget it. This is life. I just focus on new things. So yes, we do as an adults also have our own bubble. So as an educator, we also need to look forward, and we have to plan, we have to prepare ourselves, our area, our institute, our KC, so that we should have the buffer for all of these students. So when they're stressful, when they have a stress for something related, even they have a fight, they have a problem, or they have some emotional issues, so then you can take them to their buffers. And this is, you can record, and you can keep the record of each and every individual child that yes, his buffer is this. If you try to give him candy, he doesn't feel happy. But if you let him play with something, yes, and if you make him listen to the music, then he will like it. So this is really important. So it was a very short activity. I don't want to make it longer because we can come up to some useful thing. These activities for me, for myself, is just like child play. But I hope you guys must have enjoyed it. Okay, now there is a word called plasticity. Yeah, it comes out of the plastic, but I'm sorry, it's nothing to do with plastic. Plasticity, yes. This is a neurological term. I don't want to go more deep into psychology and these stuff, but it's just only, it's a kind of our brain development. It's the ability of the neural network in the brain that change through growth and reorganization. Some children in the house, when they are stressed, they are upset, the parents have their own way. They quickly give them the mobile to play with, and they just carry on, and this is their buffer. And most instructors, they have their buffer, but in your case you can't do this. You can't give a mobile to each and every child and then tell them, okay, forget about it. the rest. So this is a kind of, you need to reorganize it. This plasticity, you need to organize it, because emotional competence, it lies upon it. And this is how you're going to make them competent emotionally, and they can reorganize. And providing healthy, positive school environment or KC environment can change the development of the brain, because how it's been developed in the houses with the parents, God knows, maybe you can ask that, what happened if your child cry for something, or he gets stubborn about something? Do you really give them the tablet? Do you give them the mobile? Do you let him watch the TV? So you need to ask this question at the time of admission, Miss Malka. It's very important, because this is the buffers. You need to know psychologically how they deal with it. And your job will be, as I told you, you're not academically teaching 1, 2, 3. You need to change their behavior. You need to change them emotionally. So some children do not develop emotionally competence, such as self-regulation. They are not self-regulated as quickly or naturally than compared to the other children. So this does not mean that they are incapable of developing it. We don't need to label them that, okay, or he can't go to toilet alone, or he can't sit on in the chair, or he can't tie his zip or pants, or he can't pick up his bag. These things, it would come up of. So teachers must observe and plan strategy to teach children these competencies. I'm trying to emphasize on this. These are the competencies you need to know how to teach them through different ways. All right. Now look at this slide. The relationship. Can you guys see that? Quality relationship. So this relationship means what? Means with the parents, with the teachers, with the caregiver, yes, or with whom? With the teacher, definitely. Ms. Malka, if you look at the quality, it depends on the quality of the interaction. It's nothing to do with the facial appearance. It's nothing to do with the age. It has nothing to do with the race. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go further deeper than that. That, oh, he's this and he's that and he's this and he's that. No, this relationship, this quality depends upon the interaction with the child, how you develop this relationship. So healthy adult-child relationships are the basis for the whole social emotional development. That's really, really important. So it depends. You're going to take them to their buffer. You like to play with them. You like to sit with them. You like to listen to them. So this relationship will build up by time. And I don't have any single clue that I can tell you, you should do this and you should do that. So this will build up. So you will figure it out, but you have to focus on that. So the self-regulation of the social emotional domain. This domain is quite important because it's also based on their growth. So several research teams have found that differences in aspect of self-regulation predict young children reading and other cognitive development. Because the growth self-regulation is the cornerstone of each and every single child, because this can give them the biggest, you can say, edge over their future achievement once they develop it. Okay, self-regulation has different domain, as I was keep discussing about it. So now you can see on my slide that it has cooperation, focus on attention, managing transition, follow the routine, and manage strong emotions and share things. As I told you, sharing is caring. So this is also one of the domain, because some children, they're born in the house and they're only child. Whatever they want, the parents can give them. But when it comes to the KC, so this child thinks everything belongs to me and he will never let anyone else touch it. So that's why you need to teach these different self-regulation skills, because no, this belongs to all of us. It not just only belongs to you. So it is important to remember that the preschool age children are at the early age of being able to self-regulate, and they can self-regulate. We can't just judge them. We can't just label them. This is our job, and it often needs substantial adult support and guidance. And it will come from you guys, and which is very important. And there are many strategies that the teachers can incorporate to help these children to develop the self-regulation skills. So you guys can look it up. but I need to just highlight all of this, that how you can motivate them or guide them through their self-regulation skill. But these are the 7 areas which you need to depend on and you need to focus on. Especially wait and take turns, because I personally face this one is the biggest issue. They can't wait. They want everything quickly and they don't look for another one. They keep pushing each other. So usually it's happening in every culture, not just only in India or Egypt or UK or any other country. So this is very common. Right. I'm going to the next slide. Can you see? I actually don't like to keep reading it. I'm giving you the opportunity to just have a quick glance. So you can tell them, first of all, starting with telling them how to need to. So you can tell children what to do. You need to create a kind of routine for them. And also don't tell them what not to do, because Miss Malka, she knows that if we try to add the word not in it, so it means the brain subconsciously think that I have to do it. Because if I tell you, all of you now, if you're listening, so if I tell you don't think about the blue elephant, so definitely in your subconscious, you already picture the blue one. Because I said it don't, but you're still thinking it. So that's why we need to be careful while we're making rules or giving instructions. We should not use the word do not. We have to give them a complete different sentence, a complete different instructions. So also help children use words to regulate their action and thinking. For example, it can be frustrating to wait for your turn. So sometimes they use the technique of counting till 10. And you can ask them to take few breaths or sing a song. So when you finish the song, so then you will have your own turn. So rather than, no, don't do this and don't do, we always mostly keep instructing our children within our community, within our house. We also say, don't. Thinking into a different way. So keeping in mind, model self-control. Many teachers, many facilitators, they by themselves keep yelling and then tell them, don't shout. They're the ones shouting. So you need to model yourself. If you can't model yourself, so that will be, we always say that the 80% of the children, they don't listen what you tell them. But 20%, no, sorry, 20% they don't do what they listen, but 80% what they do, what they see you to doing. So what you're doing, you need to model yourself. That's extremely important. And it goes to the administration of the KC that you need to find the people that they can literally, whatever in real life, however they behave or act into different situations, but they have to act differently in front of the children because they're going to model them. And as I told you, we are not teaching ABC, we are not doing 1, 2, 3. We are trying to develop socially and emotionally. So how are we going to give these skills unless we don't model ourselves? We don't show them the self-control. Balance, break up complex behavior into smaller parts. So this is going to come up with experience. For example, let's say this hand washing. This is a lot for a 3-year-old child. If you give these 8 strategies to a 3 years old or 2 years old, I don't know which age you accepting, like let's say 3 to 4 years. So this is a lot of instruction. You're going to tell them, go to sink, turn on the water, put on hand soap and do this 20 seconds. So this is going to be, how can you support a child so that they can more successfully through all 8 steps? Possible awareness include give only 2 or 3 steps at a time. This is important. Don't tell them what's all 8 these steps together. Give them only 2 steps, 3 steps, depend on each child and their cognitive skills, that whether they can manage it, that whether even they can reach to the sink or not, they can open the tap or not. You're insisting, no, you have to wash your hand. No, I'm not here up to just wash your hand. I have to teach you how to wash your hand. So what are the basic first steps? This is one of the example I just picked up because nowadays, because of the COVID everywhere, we just insisting on you need to wash your hand, you need to wear your mask, and you have to have a distance. So the basic thing you need to teach this. And the example, the biggest example here, the 8 steps, but you don't give them all of them together, one by one. I need to apologize, Ms. Malka. I guess this might get longer than the time expected. It's okay with most of them?
Yes, it's okay. It's okay.
All right, then. I hope you guys are benefiting. Otherwise, I feel like I'm just doing a monologue because I'm not used to giving the professional development on Zoom. I personally go to the places and there we do a lot of fun and a lot of activities within each other and we have a break. So I'm sorry I can't allow you to have a break. I'm trying to do some activities, but I'm looking to the time as well. I'm just being honest.
Sir, actually, the time which I had discussed with you, because I know of your time constraint, I told you that we will be there for a lesser time. But of course, my audience and we all are prepared because we knew that we will have a session from 5:30 to 7. So we are all set for it and we are good to go. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, that was the secret. Thank you for sharing. Okay. All right. So let's come back to the 8th step of washing hands. Again, don't give them all these 8 steps together. Give them 2 or 3 steps at one time, and eventually the child, within 1 or 2 days, he will get used to it. And basically, we are teaching in Casey mostly the manners, the routine, how to handle, how to do a lot of things. So this is one of the examples. Now, strategy for preventing the challenging behaviors. So maybe you might have this question in your mind that what if we have a challenging behavior? So how are we going to deal with this? So is there any ABC? Is there any 1, 2, 3 that we can just do it? So this challenging behavior, it's a lot for a three. I mean, for any educator or facilitator to accept most of these kind of challenging behavior, because it's not up to the child, it's not up to one individual. You have to prepare your own classroom, you have to prepare your own environment, you have to set up your own rules and regulation and your routines. So because the children has to get used to it, and once they get used to all of these daily schedules, their daily routines and their rituals, so there is no universal guideline that which can prevent the challenging behavior. So, researchers suggest that using a broad-based early intervention strategy is a way to prevent such behavior. And it's better from the beginning, we can just stop it. We should not ignore it or from the very first day. If you find somebody's giving you a hard time and due to some other reason, try to quickly stand firm, but don't try to scold, don't try to give punishment. We'll come back to this punishment. This is going to be tomorrow's sessions, how we're going to handle this punishment. But you need to stop it. And this is the point. From the very first time, you need to stop it and you will understand, okay, Miss Malka is not letting me go to the bathroom without the permission. So I mean, I have to take permission, because in the house, he doesn't take permission from his mom and dad. He just open the door and go to the bathroom. So these are the steps you need to consider that, okay, the challenging behavior comes from where? Because they're not following the routine. They are not having the suitable environment like their houses. So this is very important. So share simple daily schedules and simple classroom almost every day. Like in the morning when you come up, so today we are going to do, if any of you want to go to the bathroom, you need to ask, you need to take the pass, you need to ask for help. So keep reminding them. So once they get used to it, then you won't have any challenging behavior, because this kind of establishment, they are set for a limited time. It's not their house. I'm not their mama. I'm not going to cook the dinner for her. I'm sorry. So I have to prepare my own environment for them as I want to. And while they are here, I have to focus on other things. So this is very important. Now we're going to look into the effective classroom environment. So how it can be an effective classroom environment. So you can see the picture. I don't know what happened in this picture. I personally see them very blurry. I don't think so. You guys can also see it. But I was trying to put some thing behind this establishment, because do you think that each and every individual child houses look like this? No, it's completely different. And that's why they are there, because you're giving them a different environment. You're giving them a different rules. You're giving them a different routine. And you are preparing them for the school, because first they need to get used to an environment, and then they're going to go to the academic achievement or challenges, whatever they're going to face. So this is very important. So effective classroom environment begins with well-organized, engaging classroom that includes developmentally appropriate practices, interesting activities, and materials, so that are neither too hard and neither too easy. Sometimes they put kind of puzzles there, or some kind of toys which the children don't know how to use them. So this is very important. So try to provide some kind of environment in which they can walk out by themselves and they can do it. They don't keep Miss or Mister, can you please come and help me how to do this? No, give them the ease, because this is how you're going to let them get used to it. If everything is hard and so difficult, imagine if you walk into the science laboratory by yourself and How are you going to do it? Because you don't know how to operate and how to hold the beaker. Personally, I'm not a science teacher. So for me, it's completely different. So give me something which I can do it. Give me the torch. I can press the button. Yes, it can give me the light. It can give me the shadow. Yes, this is one of the science experiments. But if you give me the beakers and different jars and formulas and chemicals, yes, I'm lost. I'll be started to feel frustration. You know, this is completely different story. All right, now effective classroom environment is the second slide. Like, it's not just only come up with the things which we provide them, it's also come up with the, you can say, personal climate as well. Interpersonal climate, activities are engaging, developmentally appropriate. I personally, when I was once a social study teacher, so I used to tell them, okay, let's guys play with this ball. I never call it the globe. So one of my students, he picked up and he was about to kick it. I said, no, we're not going to play with like this in the playground. What you need to do, try to point the finger on the country wherever it comes out. So we're going to talk about it, and you're going to ask me that which language they speak, what kind of food they eat. This was one of the history and culture mixed class, which is social study, as you all know. So they pointed out a few countries. So I've been to almost like 17, 18 countries in the world. So I know which language they speak. They're Latino, Spanish. So Mexico, they love this food. They have this player is very famous. So they were more interesting, and they would keep fighting over each other. But it was a healthy fight. I never scolded them. I want to, Mister, I want to do it. I want to do it. So try to give them the opportunity, the kind of like healthy learning. And this is how they're going to build up their own interpersonal skills. And developing a positive interpersonal climate begins with implementing and engaging activities. I give you my personal example of my own activity because it was engaging, that are developmentally and individually appropriate for all the children, because everybody loves to play with the ball, any single child. I will not just pick up the doll that I will say, okay, let's play with the doll, because boys may refuse. They might say, no, we don't like to play with the doll. So keep in your mind each and every individual gender, plus their interest as well. And then you can bring up all kind of activities into your classrooms. So when the teachers attend children appropriate behavior and provide assistance, they need help. So children are less likely to engage into a challenging behavior, because you divert them, you give them something else. If you just make them listen to you and you keep singing song, or you just talking, or let them watch TV, they won't care. They will start fighting with each other. Maybe you turn out to do something else, they might start to hate each other. I'm sorry, I'm giving you very extreme and drastic example, but this is reality. Why we should just close our eyes and we just talk good? This is the reality, because I personally faced it in many countries. This is what happened. So we need to focus on our own environment, what we are giving them. If it's not suitable for them, and I'm just trying to stand there and keep shouting, hey, you don't do this, and hey, you don't do this, it will never work. Right, okay, so predictable daily schedule. This is, as I told you in the beginning, that the daily schedule is very important, because most children, they need predictability, because they don't like surprises. Children don't like surprises, especially when it terms of coming to the school routine. They want to know, okay, this is our time to wash our hands, this is our time to eat our lunch, this is our time to go for different activities. So if you keep repeating this daily, and as I told you in the beginning, try to display this daily schedule, for example, in the shape of not writing vocabulary, pictures. Like whenever the teacher comes in at the morning line, or a morning circle, whatever you guys try to do, and then you try to show them those pictures that, okay, first we're going to eat lunch. So show them the children are sitting eating. Then you show them the playground. Then you show them the activities. Then you show them the story time. Then you show them whatever the schedule based on. So it has to be displayed, and it has to be referred daily. It might take 1 week, 2 weeks. So once they get used to it, and they will predict by themselves, they will know, yeah, this is now time for this is now time for that. They will not ask you the time of lunch. They will say, oh, we want to go out and play football. No, they will know, because after lunch we have the football. It can't be before that. So that's very important. Remember to catch them being good and acknowledge them for it. It's not about praising or bribing or giving rewards. It's about, you need to acknowledge them, and the kids love it. Whenever even they draw a small picture and they come to me, can you see this? Yes, daddy, can you? That's, oh wow, that's really amazing. But then they go and they make another one, because They like to hear this kind of sweet words. So, right, predictable daily schedule. You can, uh, did I do something wrong? No. Okay, you can read this slide. That's a complex activity. Yes, you can break them down. As I told you in the beginning, make them into steps. You can't give them all together. So break them down into steps, and it will be easy for the facilitator as well, how to make them do it. And for the children also, it will be very easy. And you will also give them the choices as well. Like center time, you can tell them, okay, now it's the time for lunch. Or would you like to go to playground first? So they have the kind of feeling that our also we are included in this. We are also part of it. We are not forced to do these things. So sometimes you need to listen to them as well. It's very important. Many school routines are very tough, and the kids don't want. They want to always go to the PE session, which is, I don't know in India what you call it, physical education, physical health education, PHE, I guess. But here we call it PE, which is physical education. So they always love to go out. So we give them the choices. For especially with the young kids, we have to give them the choice. Otherwise, they started to act in a stubborn way because they would think that it's been forced on us, and I don't want to do this. So always discuss the choices because the schedule is there. What if the morning session you shifted in the middle session you shifted at the beginning? The school administration or the KC administration also has to be flexible with this, that if in case based on the children choice or their like or dislike, so we respect them as well. Okay, now rules, rituals, and routine. So yes, you can see I already discussed, but I give you. Oh, I heard something happen outside here. I'm sorry. Okay, rules provide a structure because you need to stick to them, but don't be so flexible upon them. I mean, there you go. I'm almost done anyway. Okay, rules provide a structure, yes, because these are the preschooler. They are not students. Sometimes what happened, like in KC, most of the people which you hire to facilitate these children, they might start to think that we are the teachers. So clearly tell them you are not a teacher. It's better to even change their name or title or their designation. Don't call them a teacher, because once you give the title or the structured name to somebody, so he started to adopt the same role. So these are the facilitators. These are the caretakers. So yes, they will understand.
I would like to interrupt here. Rauf sir, I feel the participants are so engrossed in listening to you. We've just dropped in a form in the chat box, which has some questions. I would say 3 to 4 questions based on the session that we've had today, the presentation. So it has 3 questions. I just want all of them to answer those questions and send back the Google Forms, because thereafter I will be sharing one more form for you to fill. So friends, it would take just 2 minutes, I guess. So there are only 3 questions. If we could all quickly fill it and send it back. It's exactly based on what we've gone through today.
You try to advise them to do the questionnaires first, but let me just sum up all of this. And now this is my last slide, Ms. Malka, because I'm just living upon all of them, all the participants, because whatever I give you, whatever we talk about it, it's just all theory. Once it comes to the practice, it will be a completely different story. But you need to keep in mind these bits and pieces, that how we have to think about the challenging behavior. We should just focus on the child, or we should focus on our own environment. So these are the most important things. We need to think about their emotional skills. We don't need to more focus on their academic learning. As I told you, there are a few things, very limited, that you need to focus on them. And always keep in mind, whatever we talk about things in theoretically, it's a different completely when it comes to practice. So I hope we're going to join into tomorrow's session the same time. That will be quite different. It's about also dogs and cats. I'm sorry, Miss Malka, because we have some theories based on the Skinner and PLJ, because the one he did the conditioning, and I'm not going to talk about here right now, but I'm giving them opportunity to fill the questionnaires. And before I just go or disappear, because I'm getting some messages on my phone, because I literally came only to the house to do the presentation, and I have to go back again. Ms. Malka already know that. Thank you very much, guys, for attending this session. And I thank you for your participation in my session, especially, and it could be a treasure that you contributed. And I hope you must have got useful and profitable ideas. And I look forward to seeing you next time when you will put extra effort into making our next session even more useful and exciting. Thank you very much. I
Thank
can
you
mute
so
myself.
much. Thank you so much, Rauf, sir. It was indeed a great session. And of course, I would say a lot of learning. You know, it's like we learn every day. When we talk about education, when we talk about teachers, when we talk about facilitators, or when we talk about administrators, there's learning each day, and actually we learn from each other. So thank you so much for being here. But just before you leave, I would just like to share one thing that is a takeaway for me, wherein you've shared that sharing is caring. So when you talk about when you talk about sharing is caring, as you just quoted an incident about the lunch boxes, like sharing is caring, like don't let children share the lunch box, only one kid gets the lunch and the others share. From here I did connect something personal, because I remember when my child used to go to school and he was very young, he used to always ask me for dry fruits, cashews and almonds,
peanuts and pistachios.
Yeah, so one day what happened is I forgot to pack in his lunchbox, and then he comes home and he gets angry. Like, why didn't you pack for me? I said, oh, I literally forgot. You know what? My friend Simran, she got angry with me because I didn't carry it for her. I said, what do you mean? I have been packing, the dry fruits for you every day, and you say Simran got angry. Because no, she's the one who eats every day. So I carry dry fruits for her. That was the day I realized that he's taking that dry fruit lunch box or the dry fruit box for that little girl. And since that day he couldn't carry it for her, so she was really angry, and she wanted to break friendship with him because he didn't care for her and he didn't bring fruit, those dry fruits. So this is one thing, I just got back, I would say 10 years back, the same story happened. So thank you so much. It's been wonderful having you here, and we do look forward to having you tomorrow as well. And of course, much of your presentation was, what we actually needed to boost our change and the mindset in our working practices. We just
Definitely.
want to let you know that how much we appreciate your structured approach to such a wide topic with some fantastic takeaways, which we can put into practice. So, and I'm sure my audience are filling up their forms, and of course, I will get a clear picture as to what all we are taking away this evening. Thank you so much for
I need
being
to
here
remind them that tomorrow's session is much more important than this, because this was the first episode. So the tomorrow is the last episode. But if you usually when you watch Netflix, so any series you start at the beginning, so you wanted to see the end. So the Netflix series will be, the end will be tomorrow. And I think this was just the beginning. This was just an introduction. Tomorrow is the conclusion. So definitely you get the bigger picture. That what we are
basically, Rauf sir, you want to say, "Ye to abhi trailer tha, movie abhi baki hai." That's a Hindi dialogue, which all of us know. So that's what I can relate to. Ye to thoda sa trailer tha, movie abhi kal chalegi. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much, sir. We look forward to having you here, because as you'd already informed me that you have to leave for taking some sessions or training people. So we will let you go. And in the meantime, we connect with our audience, filling up our forms and doing whatever we have to do. And then we meet up tomorrow again. Thank you so much
for letting me go earlier. And it's my pleasure. And thank you all for listening to me for almost more than an hour. Thank you very much. I hope to see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye. Bye, Ms. Malka.
So my dear friends, if we have anything to share as to today's session, so that you can help us improve, you can help us bring to you what actually you're looking for, and what actually you think you need help in. Because see, as educators, as I told, we learn every day, and we all need help from each other. We need to grow together in order to help our little toddlers, in order to have better future, the better nation, I would say. To make our nation stronger, we need to give the best at the root level. So together we can always drop in our messages in the chat box as to what all we look forward for, because as we just said, it's just our first session, just the beginning. Mr. Rauf will be continuing tomorrow, and of course for the third day we will have another master trainer with us, and of course we will continue with such series. But of course we look forward for your inputs as to what particular topics you want us to take up. And anybody who's interested in taking up various sessions may also put in your messages and do contact us, so that together we can bring a change. And I hope all of you have filled in the questionnaire. It was quite easy. Tukka to nahi mara? Well, thank you so much. I would request the technical team to share the second form that we have. Again, it's very, very short, a 1-minute task, and trust me, we'll let you go. Our deadline was 5:30 to 7, and we still have 10 minutes to go. So I'll let you go early, guys. So just we have another form there, right in the chat box. If we can quickly fill in that, so that it will help us to, work out on tomorrow's session. If anybody wants to say anything, kindly unmute yourself and talk. We are here to talk. We're here to share. We're here to learn. Yes, please.
Hi, good evening, everyone. And it was very amazing and wonderful session, and lots of insights and takeaways. And believe you me, I really enjoyed every minute of it. That, I didn't even realize it's almost about to be 7. So of course, I will look forward to tomorrow's session too. And thank you, Kids Captivation, for providing us the opportunity to, gain so insightful things from our master trainer.
Thank you, Ms. Naveen, for your wonderful words, I would say. That's what it keeps us going. All the appreciations, all the, acknowledging each other, appreciating each other. That's how life goes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You are such a good host. You keep entertaining us in between. Thank you.
Yes, my friends, anybody who wants to say anything, anybody who wants to share their experiences, like whatever session we've had today, of course, we go back and we get a lot of memories, a lot of things that actually happened with us. I would say it was nothing out of the box, but it was something which we've been neglecting upon. There's something which we ignore, very small things we ignore. And I always say, it's a very, very old and a pet dialogue that I use: take care of small things, the bigger things will fall in place.
I would like to add, Malika ma'am, here, that, these are the basic things which actually we had just left aside, moving forward with different things, trying out different things with kids. But the basic structure was left behind somewhere. So today, no, sir has just polished it for us, actually.
Well, thank you so much. Well said, Sonia ma'am. And there I can see a message: I am in COVID-19 now, but I love to attend, and I did it. Oh, thank you so much. And we wish you a speedy recovery, Dr. Iman. Take care. Get well soon. The entire KC team and all the audience present in the room send their wishes to you. And I am sure blessings do work. You will be fine soon. Thank you, Madhuri. She says it's an amazing session with the precious information. Thank you, dear. Guys, have we filled up these? Yes. Have
Hello,
all of
Dr.
us?
Mocha?
Yes, Winnie. Hi, how are you?
Yeah, fine, thank you. Sorry, I didn't join in the beginning, but I feel so lucky that I was here, because after just staying for some time, listening to this point, the session offer, I think this topic is quite important. As the speaker mentioned about this topic, education for the younger generation is really important. I think it also happened in Thailand. I'm the educator from Taiwan. I think it's a universal. So I'm the primary school teacher. I found that really we should do this such of attention focus on the preschool. So I think right now, this topic, this session are so meaningful. Actually, I've been teaching 20 years already, but just staying here, I have, taken so many important points. And I think they are something every time, every minute I'm learning because like Dr. mentioned about the plexicity, right? So, and also there are some guidelines for me to take away. So definitely it's only the first session. So I'm looking forward to more to take away. So thank you. I think this session and this topic is universal and very important. Thank you for your vision to have this topic.
Thank you, Winnie, for appreciating always. And see, you are a good learner. That's what I see. I see you everywhere. And yes, you pick out the best and you hit the nail. You always pinpoint that, yes, you have this to take away. So this is all about learning. See, once we are educators, we are learners first, right? And we are learners every day. Every day, every minute we learn from our children. That will be discussed tomorrow. So we all are learners every minute. So when we talk about education, even after 20 years, even after, like you said, you've been into education for 20 years. And even if I say, 20 years, 30 years, if somebody says, oh, I'm a perfect educator, no, that's what is the greatness of the education industry, education sector. It's the only educators who will say we are learning. Nobody else will say that we are learning. It is only the educators who will say we are still learning. Thank you so much, Winnie, for being here with us. And guys, I hope you filled up the second form as well, because this will help us to prepare our certifications, because it's 3 days program. And kindly ensure to join us tomorrow as well. We have a lot in store, and of course the third day. See, that's how again we learn. It's just the beginning. First session, probably second, we'll try to do it better. Third will be better and better and better and better. So if anybody has anything to say, please do. Otherwise, we sign off for today. It's 6:56 and I still have 4 minutes to your kitty if you want to. How can educators be silent? I really can't believe this. It said teachers, educators, oh my God. At home also they talk, and what the family says, this is not your school. This is not your organization. Excuse me, you're not my teacher. Kindly just keep your mouth shut. And here you have an opportunity to talk and you are not speaking.
I think we are self-regulating.
Okay. So, okay, then shall we take leave today and then we will join in tomorrow. So we still have 3 minutes. So I will be using these 3 minutes tomorrow. Okay. I will keep it in my store box and I will use this extra 3 minutes tomorrow. Bye-bye. Good night. Thank you for being here with us. Hoping to see you all tomorrow morning, tomorrow evening sharp at 5:30 Indian Standard Time. Love you all, guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.